beautiful shining stars. So we're doing different videos till we close the 44 days. And I just want to tell you and express that you're going to go through bumps. We all go through them. I go through them almost every single day. There's always something that comes up that you're like, this is not working, or I should just give up. And the reason I create these videos is because I read all your messages. I read all your concerns. And I understand. I'm going to tell you a crazy story, but I want to share with you some magic. So in these next two videos, we're going to be talking about powerful principles of money. And then I'm going to share with you in this one something awesome that I have encountered, and it brings all that I'm teaching you just brings new light, almost like evidence to what you already know. Because the truth is, a lot of this stuff you already knew, you just didn't realize a lot of it. It's like, oh, I kind of knew that. Like the whole thing with paying me first, I remember when I first read that, I was like, that makes sense. I can't believe I didn't see that. Of course I gotta pay myself first. Of course, and then it's not even a lot, you're like $20, $30, $40. A couple video ago, I told you that I'm trying to put away because I had to tap into, so I had like different savings, and one of the savings that I had was $15,000, and it was because of the whole thing with COVID that scared me. And I was like, no, we need to have like a nice little cushion just in case something happens, we have something to tap into. Well, I use that cushion. So what happens is that I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we tapped out, and I was like, okay, no, that's a no, because I'm never going to that, because that's the poverty-stricken mentality. The poverty-stricken mentality is going to feed off of all the savings, all of the credit cards. I mean, I don't touch credit cards anymore because that is definitely, forget about it. So it's like, no, okay, I tapped out of that. I'm not going to go into this. I'm not going into that. So what I do is like, what do? You either find a side gig that's going to replenish that. You sit down and you prioritize and you look at all the numbers and you look at your budget and you figure out when or how you're going to put that money back, because that is your, I call it like lifeline money, like a money that I have that I feel wealthy because I have $15,000 there. So if I need to use that to pay the rent, to pay the light, that money is there. So if this month I didn't make X amount of money, which was my goal, it's okay because I have that money there. But sometimes, and this is like where I always tell you, do not conform. Thing is that as a human, we get, I'm not going to say lazy, but we do conform. We're like, okay. And I went to a point of like 6 months where I was doing a lot more free work than I was doing payment work. And that's what we're getting to today. And I want you to really hear this, because this is about your mental attitude, about your work, about who you are, about the money that comes to you through the offering that you present to the world. And I'm going to share with you some really cool magic and stuff that I use personally that helps me. Now, there's something crazy, and it's called the law of compensation. Okay? And if you look at the principles, principle one is you're making some money and you're paying yourself first. So you always have to be making money. And like I said, if you have to go get a fucking job, you go get a fucking job. But you have to always make money. You have to find a way of making money. I could be making $10,000, $11,000 a month. And the moment that goes down, if I have to go get a side gig, I will go get a side gig. I will find a way of replenishing that. That way I don't have to, because if I'm still, and I'm going to show you this on tomorrow's energy about your multiple streams of income and how important they are to building your wealth. Now, the law of compensation states that the amount of money that you earn is a representation to the ratio that the need for what you do. Example, what I do There's a lot of people that do similar things, but they don't do it the way I do it. So I'm good at connecting with spirit. I'm good at hearing the voice of God. I'm good at adding all of that to my work. Perfect example. I create things before other people create them. If you go to Amazon, the first book on scripting was mine. If you go to Amazon, the first book on starting your psychic business is mine. So and I'm not saying that's like, ooh, look at me, I'm awesome. No, I'm saying that Spirit tells me certain things. Spirit's like, do this, work on this. I need you to get this out there right now. So I listen to that voice, and we all have that voice. Yes, I'm more connected because I am a medium, because I am a psychic. That's fine. But we all have that inner intuitive guidance that's matching our frequency, matching our energy. Right now, me and my husband are not in the same frequency because the whole thing with the money, and this is the issue when you are in a relationship, that you and your spouse are not on the same frequency. I am a master manifester, and he is what you call someone that has to see things in order to believe them. So when we have $15,000 put away, he's happy, he's peaches and cream, and I'm gonna invest in this, and he'll take money out. And that was the problem. You know, he took money out, invested in this, and then I'm the type of person, since I'm such a giver, I'm like, yes. Oh, you need money? Yes. Oh, you want money? Yes. So then when the money tops out, then I freak out, because I'm like, okay, well, now I have to work harder because I have to meet my needs, my budget, and I have to figure out how to put that money back. So it all comes down to me. And this is where we have friction, because then, I'll tell him, hey, I'm trying to put that money back. I don't like this. I don't want to go put that. I made a promise I was never going back there again. So then we have discord. He has this thing, well, he'll blame me, or he tells me, like, because he's so used to me being the magic, the one that figures everything out. So it gets to the point that we're going through that. That's the energy we're going through. And I'm sharing this with you. It's because we all go through stuff. Every relationship or every single person is going to go through something that's going to cause a disturbance when they're trying to manifest. And that is the hardest part, is when you're trying to manifest, because all of these outside noises, negative energies, and vibrations are going to try to stop you from being your, true self. Because if we are in a vibration of darkness, they're feeding off of our energy. And this is something really important. A lot of people don't tell you this. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't tell you the world is rainbows and butterflies, because you see the world for as it is. You put on the news. I will tell you that you could live in another clique. You could live in another paradigm. I know, because, and super funny, Esther Hicks talks about this. Esther Hicks talks about when you're in the vortex. She calls it the vortex because that's how her Abraham, her spiritual guides express that to the human realm. So she's like, when you're in the vortex, you are not on the click of the lower vibrations. You are not on the click of the less than. You're not on the click of not having enough, because you're manifesting. So how do you get back on that? I was on there in 2021. So with me, I was like, let me figure out what happened. How did I get off of that plane? Because, and you're thinking, oh, Daisy, but you had a saving of 15,000. Oh. All right. Sorry, I was interrupted. So we were in the vortex. So, oh, look at my name. This is what happens. All right. So we were in the vortex. I'm in the vortex. All right. So in the vortex, Esther Hicks talks about being in a place almost completely, I'm going to say, like, you're shielded from any darkness. You're shielded from anything going wrong. Everything starts to flow. Everything is going right. Everything is positive, because you're in this beautiful frequency that is not allowing any self-sabotaging energy. And how do you get there? When you're there. When you're there because you feel good. When you're there because everything pans out for you. Everything is flowing. Everything is manifesting. So it feels good. money's coming in, your relationship is positive, you're doing things that you love. The problem is that things happen in life. Life is going to happen. Everything has a season. So just like I explained to you, and that's what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of days, is how to have the money work for you, which is one of the most powerful things, is creating the money and then having the money work for you so more money can flow. Because the reason why you are in lack is because you don't have multiple waves of money entering your life. Everybody wants $1 million or $1 billion or $1 trillion or whatever it is that you're asking for and why you're here today. But there's no plan. So those are the things that we are doing in these 44 days. We are creating this executive plan for you to manifest the wealth, multiply the wealth, and have the wealth stream and stream and stream. So when you're in the vortex, you're in a good place. Money's flowing. You're witnessing the money flowing. You have sales. You have whatever it is that you're trying to do that's going to bring you money. Usually we're selling something, because in order to make money, you're selling something. Either you're selling your time, or you're selling a product, or there's some kind of selling going on. So in the principles is the law of compensation states there's the amount that you earn will always be an exact ratio to the need for what you do. So if I don't feel good about what I do, and this happens to me, I'll write a book and it'll be, I always feel like it needs more. And artists are like that. Think about artists that'll create a painting and they never finish it. And as an artist, because I love to paint too, I know the feeling. I have a flamenco painting that I have been painting for years, because every time I go to it, I add a bit of the water, or I'll add on more waves on the flamingos, because I always feel like that painting is just never finished. Like it always needs a little more. It always needs a little more. So it's a painting that I'll never sell because I absolutely love it. It makes me a lot of happiness, and I have it in my hallway, and I will walk up to it and I'll look at it and it just makes me feel good. But that is still a positive attitude. And it's something that, like I tell my kids, and you guys probably don't know this. So as an artist, as a known artist, because I do have stuff out there and I do sell my art and I do have a name for myself. When artists pass away, their paintings become very pricey because you can't have any more of those paintings. So I created certain paintings with my name that I've signed with the date of when I created them, that they could use as well to sell, to maybe offer to galleries, you know, however that goes. So there's always different ways for you to really think about your future. You know, I didn't know that until, it's funny, I saw it in an iCarly show, that he, for some reason, there was a rumor that he passed away and everybody was buying his paintings for like tens of thousands of dollars. And he's like, oh, I should die a little more often. Because he became super popular after that. Before, he wouldn't sell shit. The point is that you just don't know the opportunities. But when you have an attitude, a positive attitude about yourself, about your work, about what you're offering, it's almost like you become this magnet to attract people. I see this perfectly scenarios, YouTube. Look at the people that have YouTube channels with millions of views, where they started. I recommend that you go to their day one, their first video that they have. And you could even see, like, when they first start, they're a little bit more shy. They're a little bit kind of like, they'll hide behind the camera. And then you see them when they start to grow, how they're more like, I'm awesome. People are following me. People like my stuff. So they kind of like come out of their shell. And as you gain more success, you will also have a better attitude about your work and what you're offering and all that good stuff. But it is your attitude, it is your energy around your compensation that creates the magnetism to attracting more wealth. Many years ago, I used to sell, I forgot the name of the company. They only sell for Christmas, but they start like in the summer. And in the summer, they start to do parties. So think about like Tupperware, but for Christmas stuff. And it was so much fun because their stuff was so pretty, and I absolutely love Christmas. So I felt good about doing the parties. I felt good about going to the parties and supporting other sellers. So we would support each other. Of course, the main seller had all these people under her, and she would make money from their sales. You know, a lot of people call that pyramid schemes. I don't think it's a scheme because I'm the top seller. I created the product. That's like a franchise. You're paying me to use my idea. I think they're still selling today. I don't know the name of the company, but this was something that we did that brought us money, and we would use that profit for Christmas. They were how we bought our kids Christmas gifts, and we also they gave you a lot of free product that you would use, that you could resell, or that you could decorate your house with. So it was like a really amazing company. And you think about people like that all the time. A lot of people criticize Amway, but I know Amway sellers that are millionaires that started, I think they purchased $250 for the first box of Amway, and then they started selling Amway, but they made more money signing people up, because then those people would bring in more people. And, you know, and again, it's pyramid. But they're all like that. Avon, Mary Kay. I had a neighbor way back then that her husband left her, and she wasn't finished with her schooling because she was going to be a doctor, and it's very expensive to go to school to become a doctor, and she wanted to be a pediatrician. So how she funded her PhD and her home, and she had a little baby, was through Mary Kay. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, I had so much faith. I put all my all into Mary Kay. I started having people over and friends, because since she was a doctor, she went to school with a lot of women that wore a lot of makeup. So then she started talking to them. Of course, they were like, oh my God, you're going through this. And everybody, just to help her, started doing Mary Kay events and parties. And she was making so much money. And it was incredible. That I remember that she one time drove up with her Mary Kay pink car. She was so happy. Because Mary Kay, when you sell a certain amount of things, they give you stuff like cars and bonuses and all that. So she had her Mary Kay car. And she's a pediatrician. Don't know how many times I took my kids over to her. The point is your attitude over what you are exchanging for the compensation. And that's how you create better sales. If I feel like I'm not that good, nobody's gonna like my work. Nobody's gonna like my videos. And sometimes you need that one person to be like, you're awesome. I love what you did for me. You're amazing. And I get this every day now, but it's years in the coming. This didn't manifest overnight. Like I said, when I first started, I started with my friends. They told their neighbors and their friends, and then they would invite me over. Daisy's coming over. Get ready, because you never know who she's going to tell anything to. And then it went from me hanging out to, did you bring your cards? Did you, you know? So then I remember, and I thought it was $21, but actually the first payment I got was $11. I went to a friend's house, and they're like, you gotta stop doing this for free. And I was like, but it's a gift from God. She's like, no. And she put $11 in my hand. She goes, I don't want to hear it. You need to stop doing this for free. You're really good. Da, 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 da. And then I went to a reader, and he charged me $21. And he told me, he goes, Daisy, candles ain't free. These cards aren't free. My time is not free. He goes, and $21 is nothing. If the people can't pay you $21, they don't deserve you. So I was like, so it took me on a roller coaster of spirit, showing me other people, you know, and their thoughts and their scenarios. And then I started charging $21, and then $44. And now I'm at $222. So it's like, you're going to grow. You're going to grow, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And then you just keep growing and growing and growing. Now, also the ability to do it. I have a thing that when I don't want to do something and I don't feel good about it, I tend to be like, ugh. So then the universe is like, well, Daisy doesn't like this, so we're not going to send her more of this because she really doesn't like this. So sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Because if you watch my last video with the contact spell, I was making like $1,000 a week just from my contact spell. But it was so tedious because the people were so like needy and, oh my God, it hasn't happened. And I have to go back and the going back and forth and messaging all of these different people. Because think about it, I was making $1,000, but the ritual is only $22. So how many rituals am I selling a week to make the $1,000? Those are the people that are constantly messaging me, and it was overwhelming because I'm like, oh my God. So if I took a day off and I didn't message them, like say Sundays I was off, it was all over that I was off on Sunday. Some of these people would get mad. I'm messaging you. Don't you hear me? Hello, question mark, exclamation. So it's to the point that you're like overwhelmed because I'm like, oh my God, they need me, you know? So it took me a while to shut those doors and complain. I complained and complained. So automatically the universe shut that door for me. That spell, I think I deactivated it, and then when I deactivated it and I brought it back, it had no sales because it fell off the SEO. So with the algorithms, that's how things work. So then I was like, you know what? I'm not supposed to do this. And I took it off. And I remember I brought it back a couple times, but it was never like that first time that it was just selling and selling and selling. The commercials. So your attitude about what you are doing is very important, because it's the energy that you're saying, this is awesome, this I love, and I'm getting compensated for it. Once you get out of that and you start complaining about it, then you're like saying you don't want it anymore. It has no value to you. So then think about putting yourself in a place of how difficult will it be to replace you. For me, I see the work that I give. I've gone and done a million other classes and nobody does videos the way I do. That nobody sits in front of the camera for 30 minutes for 44 days or more to express the different scenarios, to really unravel what we are working on today, to give you the very best possible illustration of what we're working on that day. Everybody else has like 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos. You might get a 30-minute video here and there, but nobody gives the passion that I give, the energy that I give, the time, the value that I give in my work. So that would be very difficult to replace, because they can't replace me. Can't replace my experience, and I'm 48 years old and I've lived through such a long life. I've witnessed so much. You can't replace that. So it's putting yourself like, how replaceable are you? And then you even see that in jobs when you're like, you're doing a great job. And somebody always told me, you're always replaceable. And you're right. But if you can't pay me, you can't compensate me for my awesomeness, then you don't deserve me. Go ahead and replace me. It's going to take 2 or 3 other people. And usually that's how it was for me. Because I would get people, I still have the director for the school that I worked in, it says that she's never, ever come across a teacher with the dedication that I gave to my kids. Never. She's like, Daisy, never. And she used to, of course I don't live there no more, but she used to call me back and I would go and have meetings and talk about what we did and how we did it in the 90s. Because right now, these teachers have assistants and they have the help. And they still complain. When I was doing it, I had 25 kids by myself, no assistant. You don't know how many times I would get bladder infections because there wasn't people there to relieve me to go to the bathroom. So I would have to hold it until I got sick. And then I ended up in a hospital with a really bad, what is it called, IUD? And then I had to change everything, and then eventually I quit that job. So the point is it easy to replace you? It wasn't easy to replace me. And even she says that nobody ever did the work that I did. So when you're doing your business, you're giving it your all because it's your passion, it's what you love to do. You also have to have, and I'm not talking about an egotistical, conceive, I'm talking about assurance that you're awesome at what you do. That even though a million people are selling the product that you're selling, nobody sells it the way you sell it. And seeing yourself in that, putting yourself. So the laws of compensation. Well, number one, the amount of money that you earn will always be the equation of the need of what you offer. Everybody needs what I offer because a lot of us, and I'm talking about millions, if not billions of people, are seeking a better life. They're wanting to live a better lifestyle. So what I teach and the way I teach it, nobody else does it, right? So my ratio to that, giving the ratio that I want to give to myself, is in a millionaire status. Selling in a status of reaching millions, blessing millions, inspiring millions, and therefore receiving millions in compensation and more and better and so on. And then my ability to do it, being able to compensate me in such a way that I have not only $15,000 that I tap into, but have $100,000 that is there for whenever I need it. That is my goal, is 15, 30, 60, 100,000. And that's how you do it, is setting those escalating steps and bigger and better and more, and never conforming. Because the moment that you conform is the moment that you stop growing. And then what happens is the season of that ends and you freak out because, oh my God, I'm not making the money that I was making because this. Look at people at TikTok. Okay? How many people on TikTok have made millions of dollars because of TikTok? And a lot of them, I saw some cheerleaders from Miami, I think they're cheerleaders or might be basketball players, I'm not even sure, that all their sponsorships are through TikTok. They don't have any other platform. So the moment that TikTok turns off, because that's what they're saying that's happening, I don't know if it is or not, that revenue ended, that season ended. And if they don't have any other streams, that money comes to a close. So then you're starting over. So instead of doing that when you're big, going to the next, like I have TikTok, which is not so great, but it brings me people. I have Instagram, which just launched my new Instagram, and I'm already at 100 something people, and I'm not selling anything. I talk about, like, you're allowed to come and buy these courses and stuff like that, but it's mainly like my quotes and just inspiration to grow it organically. And then I have my Facebook. Again, I just opened it. And I have my Pinterest that I've had for a while, but I'm thinking about doing a Pinterest. That's also because I want everything to have like the same name. And that's what I'm working. It's like manifesting with Daisy Rose brand. So being and the attitude and the alignment of what you want to create. And if it changes, it's going to change. When I followed the Practical Star Witch, she was a Practical Star Witch. And now she's her name. Like if you go to her YouTube, I remember when I was like, where's the Practical Star Witch? And she changed her name, her brand. I think now is her real name. But she did that because now she's in front of the camera. She started by doing little tarot readings online, very aesthetic, very pretty, to now she's talking with, the high-end people of manifesting, of cards, of predictions. Like she's there. So it's like you just need to always be in a place of growth, no matter what it is. Even if you're a car salesman, an electrician, a real estate agent, or you're selling a product. Whatever it is that you're doing needs to have multiple streams. And that's when we go into the next and we talk about that. I will see you there.